Imagine the Persona 5 cast finds themselves in the world of Project Moon, where their biggest goal is to steal hearts and survive this universe. But don't worry everybody, I made sure to well prepare our beloved Phantom Thieves to survive this universe. So please listen to me on the rules and stuff you'll need to know. Okay, here are the rules and notes. 1. The Persona 5 cast will be given knowledge about this universe, so they don't come here empty-handed and they have good preparations. I will be giving the Persona 5 cast plot armor and increased survivability. Otherwise, Joker Persona 5 is gonna be cooked by a random backstreet thug. The Persona 5 cast will be in their 20s in this universe, as Persona 5 took place in 2016. So just for them to be more experienced, they are in their 20s in the Project Moon universe. The Persona 5 cast will have access to their endgame personas, as they're really gonna need it, along with being able to use the Metaverse app. And let's give them the Persona 3 rule where they can use their personas in and out of the metaverse. I will be assigning the Persona 5 Phantom Thieves each a fitting job in the city based on what heavily would best fit them to work at. This video will contain spoilers for Project Moon games unless you don't care much. So that is all the things you will need to know. Let us now begin the Persona 5 cast's journey to the Project Moon universe. Hopefully they will have a fun time there. Okay, our first contender to be in the Project Moon universe, and that is Joker Persona 5. And I can safely say that he has the potential to be a color fixer at this universe, no doubt. I can imagine Joker in the Project Moon universe has a lot of personas, which in their verse would be considered as EGOs, and he would go to Hana Association to apply to be a color fixer, and the Hana Association approves it. He would be given the color fixer name, the Red Phantom, being as young as Vespa from Distortion Detective, something like that, and his most powerful ability is being able to wield multiple personas / EGOs, as they would say, and his weapon of choice is his usual pistol and knife, which are taboo approved. Along with that, he would apply to be in a nest and start a cafe, similar to what Pequod Yisang said in one of his dialogue, where after he's done with all of this, he might start a cafe. So basically, in order for him to steal hearts, he needs to find a way to enter the metaverse without the head seeing them. So he improvises a plan to sneak into the metaverse without any beholder or anyone knowing but his friends. His office would be called LeBlanc Office, where it's comprised of him and his Phantom Thief friends. And it also serves as a cafe, which we can call Cafe LeBlanc. Obviously, they would be targeting all the evil CEOs and evil fingers there is in the Project Moon world. There is, even though there's lots of evildoers in this universe. So basically, Joker Persona 5 is gonna become a color fixer who has an office where he and his friends meet up. That is my conclusion. Let's move to the next Phantom Thief. Next person to be a contester in Project Moon's world is our man Ryuji, and I obviously know what would best fit Ryuji being in, and that is the middle as a little brother. Here's why. Ryuji is a bro after all. I mean, he helps out Joker in any way he can, even during the beginning, and they became bros. So Ryuji would definitely fit in the middle, and he has the qualities to be one. I made a mistake on my can TF2 character survive Project Moon's universe on the middle, so in this one I'll try fixing it. The middle is one of the 5 main fingers of the city, capable of even fighting away. Their ranking is basically this, which I will correct this time. Little brother or sister, which is the main force of the middle. Young brother or sister. Big brother or sister, which is the second toughest in the middle. Great brother or sister, which is the most toughest warriors of the middle. So the middle is, after all, the most kindest finger you can be in. Unlike the index, who forces you to follow a prescript, or the thumb, who likes giving quote-unquote disrespectful people discipline. The middle is all family, but you are not allowed to leave them, and you will be forever with them. Also, the middle has a book of vengeance, where they would write anyone who attacks or damages them, and the middle never forgets after all. So yeah, imagine little brother Yuji. If he ever meets up with Joker in his office, he would tell stories about how he has marked lots of people in the book of vengeance, and made sure to pay them back with interest. So in conclusion, Ryuji is a little brother of the middle. Let us move to the next Phantom Thief. Okay, next Phantom Thief we are covering is Takamaki. I was struggling between what job in the city would she best fit in. In my opinion, Takamaki would be the barber of La Mancha Land, where she's a blood fiend because of her interest in fashion. But someone told me not to make her a blood fiend, as I don't think Anne will like being a blood fiend. How about she becomes a Sync Association fixer, specifically the East branch of Sync Association. So let me explain who Sync Association is and what they do. Sync Association, as you may know, is one of the 12 associations in the city. They specialize in duels and one-to-one combat. The Sync has like 3 branches in Limbus, which is South, West, and East. But in here, I will talk about the Eastern branch basically. They are martial artists instead of the usual swords that the Sync uses. They do not throw their gloves. Instead, they declare duels by stating their names and affiliation before fighting. Also, both Sync East and South patrol alleys in their area to search for potential clients. So let's imagine Takamaki in the Project Moon universe as a mix of Cameli and Sync East Don Quixote. Basically, she's like an influencer who is very silly and probably does lots of food blogs in the Project Moon universe. Like, she would show off all the various foods in restaurants and also fight people on camera. So if Sync Association East Ann ever visits Joker's office, she would tell him stories about all her food blogs and how she constantly fights people and gets paid really well for it. So I'll write in the conclusions that Takamaki will become a Sync Association East fixer. Let's move to the next person. Oh yeah, I forgot about Morgana. But let's just be for real. Morgana would just be on Joker's side most of the time, so I don't have much deep things to explain about Morgana. So write conclusions that Morgana is on Joker's side, that's all. Move to an actual person. Also, can I tell you to kindly like and subscribe? Help me to get to 2,000 subscribers, please. Thank you very much, or just keep watching my video. Okay, next up to be isekai'd into Project Moon is my man Yusuke. And I just know the perfect place for him, and that is the ring, as a pointillist who witnesses the beauty in arts and crafts. And I will explain with lots of beauty why Yusuke is destined to be in the ring. But first, you need to know who is the ring. The ring is one of the 5 main fingers of the city. They specialize in making various amazing arts and crafts, and they are my top 2 favorite finger in Project Moon, but the thumb is my top 1. So basically, when you are in the ring, they offer protection, and they also tell people to make art, and they grade your art based on how good you do it. The ring's hierarchy is fairly simple to understand. The student is the common artist who makes art to be submitted. The docent, which is a capo equivalent of the ring and is in charge of hosting the art galleries, and the maestro, which is the high-ranking artist who gives out the assignments and hosts the ring's auctions. There's also the Faubist, Pointillist, Cubist, Corporism, Suprematism, and Blau Raters, but I ain't gonna explain them all. So yeah, Yusuke is just perfect to be in the ring. Imagine him being a ring pointillist who gets tasked by the maestro to make all sorts of amazing art to be put into auctions and present to the world. Isn't art so beautiful? If so, then the ring is for you. I can imagine that Ring Yusuke, when he visits Joker's office again, he would tell him stories about how many beautiful arts the ring makes and goes, ha 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 ha, isn't art so beautiful, Joker? Something like that. So let's write in the conclusions that Yusuke belongs to the ring as a pointless student, ready to make beautiful arts. Let's move to the next Phantom Thief. Makoto Niijima is now in the Project Moon universe, and she needs to get a fixer job, and that shall be none other than Kane Office. Let me explain. Kane Office, as you may know, is a very wealthy office that is a star of the city office that is sponsored by T-Corp. Their main goal is basically seeking the secrets of singularities for profit. Their main leader is almost a robot guy named Nemo, with 2 fixers by his side. Also, their weapon of choice is energy-based weapons, which is charge-focused. I can totally see Makoto Niijima signing up to Kane Office being their fixer like Bada or Martina. Like, she is kind of a puncher after all. She would sport a black suit and wield energy gauntlets designed for beatdown. If she ever goes to Joker's LeBlanc to discuss about her manners, she would be very serious and stuff. So let's write that Makoto Niijima is no doubt a Kane Office fixer. Next, Persona 5 Phantom Thief. Okay, testing. Analysis complete. Futaba Sakura is now isekai'd into the Project Moonverse, and she has to get a fitting job. So in my calculations, I will give her a job at limbuscompany, specifically the LCE department, and I will explain, okay? Limbuscompany, you obviously know what it is. It's basically a game you play where there's 12 sinners and they're on a bus and they travel the whole city. But Limbuscompany has a lot of departments, but in this one, I will talk about the LCE, which stands for Limbuscompany and Cafelan Department. LCE is basically the company's research and development team focused on studying and classifying captured abnormalities, distortions, and along with extracting EGOs and working off the monolith. Also, LCE staff were extracted EGO gear. Their 3 most known members is Hohenheim, Martin, and Alisa. I can totally see Futaba in the Project Moon as a LCE researcher, kinda like what someone said to me. She would probably get a job in the Project Moonverse similar to her mother that involves research. She would fit right in working at LCE as a researcher and wearing ego gear perhaps. If she ever visits Joker's office once again, she would discuss to Joker about the cool experiments and research they done on abnormalities and stuff. So I'll write in the conclusions that Futaba Sakura is going to be an LCE researcher at Limbuscompany. Just a couple more to go. Okay, next up is the girl with the least screen time among the Phantom Thieves, and that is Haru Okumura, and she will be sent to the Project Moon verse under a rich family, and that is the Edgar family. For the clueless Persona fans here who has no idea on who the Edgar family is, I will explain why Floop should be in the Edgar. Edgar family, as you may know, is a rich family coming from T-Corp's next outside of District 20. The Edgar is famous in Fixer circles, and a lot of their members would constantly appear in Fixer magazine. Their manor is located in Wuthering Heights. The butlers of Edgar family wear two types of suit. Men wear black suits and women wear maid uniforms but in French. If Haru Okumura ever ended up in Project Moon's world, I could totally see her being in the Edgar family as a hair or something, purely from vibes due to her being rich and stuff. This is another if Haru goes to Joker's office, she would tell Joker that Edgar family is great and that she is living a good life there. So let's write in the conclusions that Haru Okumura is going to be in the Edgar family. 2 more Phantom Thieves to go. Let's send Akechi into Project Moon's world. Along with that, he needs to get a job in the city. And that shall be none other than 7 Association, so let me explain. 7 Association, as you may know, is one of the 12 associations in the city, made up of fixers that specialize in information gathering and investigation. They are described basically as investigators or detectives. I can totally see Akechi in the Project Moon world as a powerful fixer. He would most likely become grade 1 in 7 Association due to his access to 2 powerful personas and his competency. I can imagine he would try to challenge Joker to see who is the strongest fixer among these 2. Sometimes they would duel and Akechi would complain that Joker is way too strong to fight him. So let's say in the conclusions that Akechi is gonna become a grade 1 fixer, 7 Association. 1 more Phantom Thief to cover. Okay, last character that's gonna be covered on what they will work at Project Moon's universe is Sumire Yoshizawa, not Kasumi Yoshizawa. In the Project Moon world, she would also work at an association, and that shall be none other than Sync Association, the southern branch mainly. I already have explained Sync Association in Takamaki's part and what they obviously do, but here, I'll TLDR the southern branch. Basically, they duel people and they declare a duel. They throw a glove at their opponents then fight. Sync Association South wears blue uniforms and they wield rapiers. I can totally see Sumire Yoshizawa working at Sync Association purely for vibes and style. A young ambitious fixer with a persona or EGO performing fencing classes and starring duels. I mean, Sumire is into gymnastics after all, so working at Sync would probably put it to use. If she ever goes to Joker's office, she would tell him stories about how great it is being a Sync fixer and dueling people along with getting paid by clients. So let's end off the video by saying Kasumi Yoshizawa is gonna be a Sync Southern fixer. Let us end this video now. And that is the story of the Persona 5 cast ending up in Project Moon's world and getting jobs in the city along with stealing hearts. So I must say my final words. Maybe I should try this new niche idea I had more, where instead of isekaiing characters to Uma Musume where they become trainers, how about instead we isekai them to Project Moon and I start laughing and going ha 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 ha. But don't worry, I ain't gonna say they get taken out by a sweeper type. Okay, I want you to help me get to 2,000 subscribers as that's my goal for this channel, okay? So let's keep going. So kindly like and subscribe. Along with that, check out my channel memberships. You don't necessarily need to buy the membership, but if you can, then sure. You can always just help me out by subscribing and watching. Hopefully this video will attract a lot of Persona fans and Project Moon fans in one, where they can now imagine the Persona 5 cast in Project Moon's world. So yeah, thank you for watching everybody. May I get to 2,000 subscribers and I'll see you all later in my next video. Peace out and goodbye.